Like, Bill Gates. Yeah, the founder of Microsoft. Yeah. Do you know who that is? Yeah. He's dining right behind you. The kids are like looking up, looking over my shoulder, and he's right behind me. And so I did one of those real smooth deals, you know. I had to do a double take. Bill Gates only had coffee. And so the conclusion in my mind at the time was, if the billionaire can only afford a cup of coffee in this place, we should not be here at all. Now, of course, he could afford it. But the irony of that situation really struck me. I called a friend and said, Bill Gates is behind me. He said, ask him for a loan. It's a good idea. But I'll tell you, in that moment, my daughter had no idea that my wife and I were sinking inside. And we didn't want her to know. In fact, it was almost a year later, she overheard me telling the story that was now funny. And she said, I had no idea, Dad. I said, I didn't want you to know. Because it was your birthday. And all I wanted you to know was how much we loved you. Well, mission accomplished. Extravagance, you bet. A little more than we planned. Listen, if we're to be a people of the party, we need clarity of purpose. We need attention to details. And here, we need an element of extravagance. Something that costs you and conveys value and conveys love. It's not just buying expensive things. In our world, time is such a valued commodity that for many of us, that may be what you need to start giving up more of. But I have my favorite shows. I need my downtime. I need this. I need that. You need to give it up. If you're not reaching the lost, it's time to start sacrificing extravagantly. If we want to see restoration like we see in this third parable, we need to make time to come alongside people, to know them, to serve them, to love them extravagantly. There's such an image of extravagance here. It should overwhelm any of us who are in Christ. And it should recall to our minds all that Christ rescued us from. Do you remember when you were that lost child off in desperate times, knowing of no other thing to do except to come crawling back in humility? What better example of extravagance to convey value than the love that God shows us by sending His only Son to live among us, giving up all of His heavenly power and glory so that He can walk among us and then die in our place at our hands. The love our God has for every person on this planet is beyond comprehension. The extravagance outlined in this parable is a spare, no expense shower of blessings, and it's available to any and all who would believe. And so as we begin thinking about kingdom parties and how this ought to be a party every Sunday, and it shouldn't always be right here, and the party we ought to carry with us wherever we go, that we need to have a clarity of purpose about why we're still here. Remember my worship minister in D.C. always saying the only reason God still hasn't come back is because there are more people that need to be saved. Because we're ready. You know, I've been redeemed. I've been justified, sanctified, given a new heart. I'm following God, and His robe of righteousness covers over me. It's just a matter of when He comes back at this point. I'm just staying faithful to follow Him in the meantime. Well, what's He waiting for? He's waiting for me to keep reaching others. Because it's not just about you. Clarity of purpose, attention to detail, doing whatever it takes, and being willing to sacrifice with that extravagance. One more tip, missed by the older brother. And it brings us full circle in the sermon series as well, verse 25. Now his older son was in the field, and as he came and drew near to the house, he heard music and dancing. And he called one of the servants and asked what these things meant. And he said to him, your brother has come, your father has killed the fattened calf because he has received him back safe and sound. And at this point the brother should go, are you kidding me? That's fantastic. But he was angry. And it says he refused to go in. So his father comes out and entreated him, implored him, begged him, tried to make him understand. But he answered his father, look, these many years I've served you, I never disobeyed your command, yet you never gave me a young goat. Then I might celebrate with my friends. But when the son of yours comes, who has devoured your property with prostitutes, you killed the fattened calf for him. And the father says to him, son, you were always with me, and all that is mine is yours. It was fitting to celebrate and be glad for this. Your brother was dead, and now he's alive. He was lost. Now he is found. And so we have this second part of the parable, where this older brother misses the boat. And you can see why he's angry, but that doesn't mean he's right. It's like when a church regains its sense of purpose and regains a passion for the mission to advance the kingdom and to find the lost, and yet there are some who grumble. And there are some who complain because the dynamics and the atmosphere are starting to change. And you get a little uncomfortable. And listen, I get how traditions are cherished. And I understand that we're creatures of habit. And we don't do well with change. But that doesn't mean the grumbling and the feelings are right. We may have them, but we need to submit them to God and repent and say, Lord, help my heart to align with yours. Because you don't want to be in the shoes of the elder brother. He misses the compassion. He misses the forgiveness. And so his father comes out to him and begs him. And you see that there's this joy at the end of this parable in finding that which is lost. And we don't know what happens to the older brother. Did he enter the house? Did he come around? Did he understand and begin rejoicing? Or did he storm off? I don't know, but I love how Mark Moore's commentary puts it. Perhaps Jesus did not tell, because the story has not yet ended. Jesus is standing in the middle of the prodigals, the tax collectors and the sinners. What he has done here is take the people on the fringe and place them in the center. And the Pharisees, accustomed to the center stage, now find themselves standing on the fringe. And this same story is in progress in our churches all over still today. Sometimes the older brother goes in and the church flourishes. Sometimes the older brother storms off and the church fractures. The thing is, we don't get to pick and choose the lost ones that we're called to care about. When the birth of Jesus was announced in Luke chapter 1, the angel said it was good news for all people. That includes the people who make dumb decisions, and you've made them yourself. That includes people who break laws. Maybe they come into the country without documentation, and instead of getting on our high horse and looking down our noses at them, we should remember, hey, I break some laws too. I got 2 speeding tickets right now the last 2 years. Well, that's hardly the same thing. Well, laws are laws. What about those who are incarcerated? Those who vow to destroy us? Those who don't look like us. Those who aren't as educated as we are. They don't have as much money as we do. It's good news for all people. And I know this, if the older brother didn't enter the house, he missed the best part of the party. Because you got that clarity of purpose, attention to detail, elements of extravagance, and then the best thing about it is just that atmosphere of joy. Our most recent party for our family took place on August 2nd when Andrea got married. And we've got the video to prove that that day was so fun. The guy that recorded it for us said, normally I'll put all the clips together and I'll play some soft romantic song. He said, but it just didn't fit that day. That was fun from beginning to end. So we have a more upbeat song with this video. If you go to my Facebook page, you can watch it. I love it. I'm like, man, that just captures the fun that we had that day. Early on, my daughter came to us and says, well, okay, we don't know how much money you guys have, and we know that it's tight, and so we were just thinking maybe we would just, have something small in the backyard, and we don't even need someone to do a sermon or music or anything. We'll just do our vows. And I said, well, do you want your friends from Maryland to come? Yeah. Well, you're going to need to have something for them more than just 5 minutes. Well, I appreciate you not wanting to cost us anything, but we want to have a party for you. Will you let us have a party for you? So we had dancing. And the dance floor was full. And we had food. And, it made the Bill Gates dinner look pretty small all of a sudden. Bobby Flay's 500 was nothing compared to this party. But man, what a great time. And it was the same thing at that birthday party. After I got over the fact that we got to do this, I didn't worry about the money anymore. And we laughed. We had a ball. And as we left, she gave us kisses and thanked us. Her friends were so appreciative. And then Nathan came up, my second oldest. He said, thanks for dinner, Dad. I said, you're welcome. Oh, and by the way, happy 16th birthday to you, too. And I said the same thing, happy 16th birthday to you. Happy 16th birthday to you, to my 10-year-old. Because that's it. Hope you enjoyed it. And then on the way back down the New Jersey Turnpike, we had to pull over on the side of the road because my 10-year-old threw up a full rack of ribs. I knew he couldn't handle that much. All could think was, it's $32, get that back in your mouth. Oh. But what a fun memory we made. The atmosphere of joy is the best part of any party. And we see it in all three parables, verse 6, verse 9, verse 32. Well, if you're going to have that, you better have a guest of honor. You better have a good crowd. That's what makes the hot dog bar fun. It's what makes the wedding reception fun. It's what makes the birthday party fun. And there's no greater party than the one that takes place when lost souls are reconciled to God. A week ago Friday, at the end of my Christian life class, we walked down to the creek behind Ozark because one of the students heard me teaching on the role of baptism in the life and the conversion experience of someone coming to Christ. And she said, I need to be baptized. So we left class early, walked all the way down there, baptized her in the middle of a Friday morning session. And you think, oh, it's a Christian college, everyone's Christian there. Well, they're all different stages. Some are atheists that come to Ozark. They're there because their parents made them. Some are there from other denominations and they don't know all the different things that Scripture teaches on some of these different issues. I love having them there because they have a greater appreciation for other parts of Scripture than sometimes we neglect. But boy, what a party that day. She comes out of the water and everyone's cheering and whooping and hollering. There's no greater party than that. And the same thing was going on in heaven as she was baptized. Do you remember what it was like when you became a Christian? When you came up out of the water? The joy that you felt and the celebration around you. Maybe even just expressing that song, How I belong to Jesus. Did they sing that when you came out? Do you know about the concern and the search and the lengths that people went to bring you to faith? Aren't you glad? Aren't you glad that you are redeemed? And if you are, tell your face. Tell your face. And aren't you up for another one who needs to be restored, another party to begin? And if the prodigal story tells us anything at all, it's what Maria, the mom in Brazil, communicated to Christina. Whatever you've done, whatever you've become, it doesn't matter. Please, come home. You have a party to plan. You have an invitation that you're going to make.